should a Christian contend for the family? Do God's people have any right to speak into marriage, parenting, children, and legacy? Yeah, we do. God made us male and female. If that triggered you, welcome. God made us male and female, and he made marriage for one man and one woman, and they have children that God says they are responsible for, not the government. Not the government, right? We were watching the news the other day, and they came on, and they're like, one of the political leaders said, well, these are our children. My wife's like, you didn't push. You didn't. Like, I was there. You weren't pushing. You weren't dilated. You did not involve yourself in this process. And so what we're seeing now is that continually, for those who are the fake Christians, they want to keep moving the line till there is no line. So you need to hold the line. The two things that are coming regarding family are polygamy and age of consent. Polygamy from 2003 to 2023, those in America who considered polygamy as morally acceptable, according to Gallup, went from 7% to 23%. That's a percentage a year. Give it a little more time and the majority of Americans will be pro-polygamy. That's where we are. We see these crazy shows on television, and there are states like Utah that have decriminalized it. And this is what happens for those who know that what they're asking for is wrong. They won't make it legal, they'll just decriminalize it. Like drugs. Drugs aren't legal, but they're decriminalized, so everybody's a fentanyl zombie. The results are the same. They've decriminalized it in Utah. In addition, the American Psychological Association now has a committee on consensual non-monogamy pushing for polygamy laws. It's amazing to me. They're like, if we say, dirty people, that won't work. So let's call it the Committee on Consensual Non-Monogamy, which is another word for dirty people. In addition, the goal now is going to be pushing the line of pedophilia and age of consent. Here's why. Because our world doesn't like any limitations. And it's horrifying. And here's what we see now in California. You knew it was going to be California. State Bill 148 allows pedophiles to not register as sex offenders if two conditions are met. Number one, if the victim was 14 years or older, and if the offender was no more than 10 years older than the victim. So if a 24-year-old guy gets a 14-year-old girl, then the judge can say, we're not going to register them as a sex offender because we don't think they did anything wrong. They're not going to get flagged on background checks then for babysitting kids, working in a church nursery, teaching at a school. Should Christians contend for education and how we educate our children? All God's people said? Yes, yes, yes. The United States of America, for the first half of our heritage, nearly all education was private and Christian, often in the church. In the last roughly half of our nation's history, education has been public, which means government. It was founded by Thomas Dewey and Horace Mann, two founders of the Humanist Manifesto, Antichrist. And let me just say this. If I wanted to have a totalitarian government that overtook all the freedoms and brainwashed the next generation, I would try to separate children from God and children from parents. I would have them with my teachers more than anyone else. I would indoctrinate them with government education so that they grew up to be good sheeple who did what the political leaders told them. I know that's not possible, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if I were to take over the world, I would start by having government schools that train people to be government stooges. That's what I would do. Now, that being said, of the first 123 universities and colleges in America, nearly all of them were founded by and for Christians. We are people of literacy and Bible translation and education. And here's what the Bible says. The government is not held primarily responsible in the sight of God for the education of children, the parents are. Just read the book of Proverbs over and over. It's a mother and a father training their children. Ephesians 6:4, the Apostle Paul says, fathers, don't frustrate your children, bring them up in the Lord. And the word there in the original Greek is paideia, which means the full total development and discipleship of a child into a functioning adult. Mom and dad will stand before God and give an account for the education of the child. And I know that everybody's like, I know a good public school, or I know some Christians who are trying to help in the government school. I do too. You know, I know drunk drivers who make it home. There's all kinds of miraculous things that happen, but the odds aren't good. The odds aren't good. Now, if you're not offended, I'll get to you. It just takes time to get everybody, okay? This is why I would encourage you to be proponents of school choice in the state of Arizona. We have one of the leading freedoms in our nation. Here's a crazy idea. Parents can decide what school's best for their kid. Crazy. Let me tell you this. Parents love their kids. Parents know their kids, and parents know what's best for their kids. And so we need to contend for this freedom. And what we're seeing now is this is also leading to other kinds of schools. And if you don't contend for curriculum, for school choice, for education of children, others are. There's a new school that's just opening and made the news this week. It's part of the 1 in 10 Health and Wellness Center. It's a new queer-based learning center for those ages 14 and over in the Phoenix Valley. They have queer history, not American history. In addition, they have a monthly program that has pronoun support, hormones 101, gender-affirming surgeries 101, and how to bind and tuck genitalia safely. It's a school curriculum in our town. Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.